Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the DeFi Exchange. Today I have Adam Parnell, who's Business Development Director for Americas and Europe at Liminal. Adam, lovely to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Michael. Always a pleasure.
Awesome. So Adam and I go back some time. Adam, maybe just talk through the integration itself and just talk us a little bit about your services.
Yeah, of course. So obviously here at Liminal, we were keen to support Tezos. So the chain is integrated on our systems. Liminal is a wallet technology provider, almost a wallet as a service provider. But what makes us unique is we're non-custodial and custodial. And for us, supporting Tezos was a no-brainer. We absolutely had to have it. We have a very large customer base spread across Asia specifically. So more than 60% of all cryptocurrency in India is flowing through our technology, something close to 50% in Indonesia, and it's growing very, very rapidly as well across Asia. And now it's starting to grow rapidly across Europe and Americas. But about 1/3 of our customers are exchanges. And, for exchanges, as a minimum, we have to have Tezos support because it's one of the major tokens that exchanges are going to trade on. But also, about 1/3 of our businesses are Web3 projects of all different shapes and sizes that are trying to achieve different things. And again, having support for Tezos for our users for those reasons are absolutely mandatory as well.
Amazing. So yeah, I think the integration it's actually been for some time now, which is amazing. And of course, given your strength in the Asia region, we've also got quite a presence there, headed up by our APAC team. So exciting to see the sort of business opportunities which come out. I think it'll be quite exciting. But maybe as a step back, just in terms about custody itself, how are we looking in terms of institutional custody in a Web3 context compared to what they know in the traditional market?
Yeah, I guess it's an interesting comparison to make. I mean, the traditional market is, I think, very much limited by the technology that they employ. Whereas obviously in Web3, the technology is evolving all the time. And I think the use cases are evolving all the time as well. There's loads of different tokenization projects and NFT projects and DeFi projects coming to fruition now. And I think, we've been in a bear market for quite some time now. So the projects that have survived and that are building at this time, they have to be really strong by nature, otherwise they wouldn't be here right now. So you've got some really strong projects coming through, and almost every single project that you can think of needs some way to safely store and manage and transact the assets that they're moving. It's either their assets, their treasury, or it's their customers' assets, the things that they are doing on behalf of their customers in various different ways. And, a big piece of this right now in Web3 is all about trust, all the way across that spectrum from the original customer through to the project, through to an organization like us. Trust is a big part of it. Nobody wants to get involved in a project that they think that, their assets are going to go missing overnight and disappear. So trust is a big part of it, and having the right technology is a big part of it. And, in Web3, there are a lot of different choices to make as well. Just in terms of wallet technology, you've got things like multi-sig wallets where you're backing up your keys on a HSM device like a Ledger or Trezor, or you've got NPC wallets where it's more server based and great for automation and scaling wallet operations. So yeah, it's a complex subject to talk about on Web3, and I could talk on that point probably for an hour, which I know we don't have.
Amazing. Yeah, that makes sense. And if we look at where Liminal is keen to be more focused on, could you maybe talk us through a little bit about where you see the future taking us with you and the services?
Okay, yeah, cool. So I guess it's a good question because it's one of the things that makes Liminal unique is we started life as a non-custodial. As we built up our user base, we were getting asked, time and time again by our users, hey, we want you to custody our assets for us. So it was a no-brainer. We decided to move into the custodial space, and we have a custodial license now in Hong Kong, and we have another one coming through anytime now for Abu Dhabi and then Singapore after that. So we're really focusing our custodial custodial efforts on the Asian region where the bulk of our customers are. Obviously, I'm building our presence and our customer base here in Europe and in the Americas, and we're picking up momentum very, very quickly. Whereas, most custodians out there started life as a custodian, and that was the nature of the business from the beginning. Starting life as a non-custodian it meant that we had to have a very, very strong but very simple and easy user interface for our customers to be able to build on. And then what we were able to do is just kind of piggyback the custodial option on that user interface. So if somebody wants to generate an account on Liminal, to generate a wallet on Liminal, then, when they set it with us, they just let us know whether they want it to be non-custodial or custodial. They can still see and manage their assets in the same way. The only difference is who holds the keys. So it's actually, for us, it's not a huge, big distinction between the two. And it's an interesting way to approach the custodial, non-custodial option.
It's kind of like the value proposition, right? You can give the best of both depending on the user needs.
Exactly. And something that we're seeing a lot of requests for now is also white labeling. So we offer a white labeled service where an organization can take our technology and then they can actually administer, even non-custodial or custodial services using our tech. And our tech is CCSS level 3 certified. So it's got the strongest certification, for wallet technology you can get. So it makes sense. Why build something, from scratch when they can use, some of the best tech on the marketplace, and then they can administer custodial services on behalf of their clients. And that's becoming more and more important because of the regulatory environment. So the regulatory environment is getting more and more complex. And, as organizations want to operate in different geographical regions, you need to rely on more players that hold the right licensing in order to be able to do that.
And you mentioned CCSS. I think that sounds like a very important point. You mentioned a lot about trust and about security. Do you want to maybe just talk us a little about the CCSS standard? Let's maybe.
Yeah, this is something that we've had it for quite some time now, and it has really led us from strength to strength, because building trust when you're talking about dealing with people's, assets, when you're talking about money, is hard to do. And CCSS, it stands for Cryptocurrency Security Standards, and we are audited by a group called C4 to get this certification. And in fact, some of our senior leadership team are actually auditors for the certification itself as well. So when a business comes to us, whether it's an exchange or a Web3 business of, all different shapes and sizes, and they say, hey, this is what we're trying to do, what's the best way to manage the asset flow? We're not only coming at that from a perspective of these are the highest standards in the world to manage this safely, but from our perspective as a supplier, but we're also advising them and saying, hey, this is how we recommend you set up your wallet infrastructure and your asset flow and how you manage your key materials, etc. So that, if you wanted to, you could become CCSS level 3 accredited yourself. And it's a really nice, easy way to be able to just put a piece of certification in front of somebody and say, hey, check this out, do a bit of background, bit of due diligence on what it is. And then, you can come back to us and know that you're in the right hands.
So it sounds like Liminal does a lot of, I'm not going to use the word hand-holding, but like working with projects, understanding what they want to do, and then proposing, okay, based on this, we can go the non-custodial, custodial. We've got the CCSS standard board as well. So you kind of go on the journey with the project. Would that be an accurate statement?
Oh, absolutely. And this is why I think Liminal is such a great matchup with Tezos, because the projects that are building on Tezos, they just fit really, really nicely with, as you say, traveling on that journey together. So when a project comes to us, it's not just hey, this is our product, take it or leave it. We try and understand the product. And it's always, in sales, you talk about this needs versus wants. You get a customer come knocking on the door saying, hey, I want to buy a wallet. And actually, when you look at it a little bit deeper, it's like, well, you want a wallet, but what you need is, to really secure this asset flow from customers coming into your system to customers taking assets out of your system, and do it in a way that it's scalable and it's not operationally intensive. And, when you get projects who are building from scratch, they try and kind of brute force these operations by just like doing it a low tech way and using manpower to do it. And usually they're doing that because you need to get proof of, commercial viability before you can invest in expensive tools. But the great thing is Liminal's not an expensive tool. It fits really nicely for people who are just setting up and who are building a project and they're in those early stages. And rather than try and brute force something and make mistakes, we can implement something that is, time tested, and we have a lot of experience with different projects of different shapes and sizes where, we can just implement it, and it's one less obstacle before that project can go live. It's one piece of the puzzle that they can just drop in place, and then before you know it, they're up and running and they're scaling.
Love it, which is what we're all trying to achieve, is scale at speed.
Yeah.
Adam, just to wrap it up, would be great to know where the audience can engage with you as well. Are you going to be at any upcoming conferences?
Yeah, of course. So obviously Token 2049 in Singapore is going to be a big one. Unfortunately, I don't get to go. I'm stuck here in Mallorca enjoying the sunshine. My senior team are there and we're based in Singapore. If we're looking closer to home here in Europe, I know there's a lot coming up, especially in October, November time. So I'm going to be here, there and everywhere. If you're at a conference in October, November, expect to see me there. You can always find me on LinkedIn. And also, there's a great space in London called Blacks, where a lot of the Web3 community in London come together. You can find me working from there, usually on a Thursday. Always happy to sign people in and show you the place, and it's a great place for networking as well. So yeah, please don't hesitate to reach out and come find me.
Amazing. Adam, thank you very much for the time today. I'm in a very rainy London, so I'm sure you're looking forward to come back home, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thanks for the call.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Have
Thank you,
fun.
Adam. Ciao.
Bye.